I'd like to move into the world of short film and writing for short films to produce be produced on a lower budget. And a lot of people here have done so. There's a lot of people in this specific meeting that know a lot of this stuff already that we're going to talk about and have possibly a lot of a lot of good experiences, a lot of warnings. TSA members won't be shooting their own script for this contest. They'll be writing the script. And the idea is that um, the the first thing that will help you win the contest is um, to stay within, the limits of the contest being 10 pages or less. It can be less. You don't have to write 10 pages if you don't want to, and if the story doesn't warrant it. Um, and Also, what is shootable? What is doable? When somebody looks at it and says, "This is an awesome story," and I can shoot this in MK's house, because she doesn't care if I paint everything in her house. So, that's the thing is you want to tell the story, and this is, and I get in arguments with my filmmaker friends all the time about this, but I just think that filmmaking is hard as hell. To do it badly, it's hard. To do it good, it's hard, but it's just hard work. So the idea is if you can tell an awesome story that doesn't seem to be a big ask for the producers all the time. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to go, uh, I'm going to have to go get a courtroom at City Hall. I know somebody who knows people. That's not a big deal for him, but for nine other people, they're going to go, Jesus, how really? I don't even know where to start to do that. So if the
Hey,
more
Bob. Yeah,
the more
I'm sorry.
generic you can keep your locations, the better off you are. Yeah, Chris Hollow's got his hand up.
I was just going to try to interject that as much as I love talking about production, this is a screenwriting group talking about screenwriting. And honestly, your only goal is to make it past the judges to get into the top five so that I can pick which one
True.
to shoot. That's all there is to it. And it's a matter of, I wrote down prioritize story while keeping budget in mind. That's all.
And let,
That's what it comes down to. If you
yeah,
if the story is no good, it won't make it past the judges. If the budget type things are all wrong, it won't make it past the judges. So your role, your job is to write something that has a good story that is producible, that'll get past the judges and make it to the top five. That's your only goal is to get to the top five. Once you make it to there, it's out of your hands entirely.
yes, thank you, Chris. And just to reiterate, um, shootable for the terms of this contest, and these are listed in there basically, but the idea is um, choose one location that is an achievable location. Not a space shuttle, not something that has to be created, not either a created set or a CGI set. None of that stuff is going to happen. Make it something that's achievable. If you say, okay, um, an Arctic substation. Well, that's achievable, but it's probably not going to be achievable for a Nashville producer. So be realist. If you want a realistic chance of getting your script produced, come up with story ideas in reasonable places. Also, no moving vehicles, no shooting in moving vehicles. Vehicles can move in it if they must, but no shooting inside a moving vehicle. That is too complicated and dangerous on a low budget on a short shooting schedule. And this is a short shooting schedule, so that's another thing. Real quickly, that I want to just mention. Um, Why is a single location good? And by the way, a single location is the way we're defining it is you don't have to load up a vehicle to move your equipment somewhere else. So a a uh, a house and the front and backyard is essentially a single location. All right. Um, the park is a single location. The park near a waterfall is a single location. But just so you know, this is where production would help because shooting sound around a waterfall is BS. It's a pain in the ass and might need to be fixed later. So those are elements where understanding production will help you greatly. Um, yes, thank you, Mark. Awesome. Highly producible, 10 pages or less, limited number of characters and extras. Six or fewer is recommended for sure. Limited number of locations, single home, single place of business. That is, what are you doing? Now I can't see it. Single location exteriors on said location are also considered part of the location. And again, equipment will not be needed to transport somewhere else. No night shoots. Those are their own thing. That in the film world is its own particular brand of torture. And at least at this stage for TSA contests, we're not into torturing people just yet. So, or at least we're into limiting the torture. So no night shoots, which means if you have night scenes, they're inside and the windows can be covered and it can be referred to as it's night. But outdoor night scenes, and if any of you think you're going to get fancy shooting day for night, that sucks. It doesn't look right. So don't don't believe in that. Limited or no CGI, VFX. If you don't know which CGI or visual effects are cheap and easy to do, then just don't use any. Um, no stunts. Stunts are dangerous on a low budget. Definitely no big action sequences. No public gun or weapons use. Again, this is where your knowledge of production comes in handy. By the way, you can have gunshots happen off screen. So there's ways around uh, not having someone get shot on the set. And that's what the producer will do. But the idea is if you're running around in public with guns, that can be hazardous to a lot of various people's health. So, um, no scenes inside moving vehicles, already mentioned. No permits or fees required. So there might be some strange public locations that you think are no big deal to shoot in. But if you don't know whether or not that is something that can get permitted easily and be a shootable location, then ditch that idea and save it for another time. Um, Locations must be something that can be found within the Nashville area because we have a Nashville producer shooting it. They must be shootable in one production day. Again, your knowledge of production would help you with this completely. I can tell you right now, though, shootable in one production day is far more achievable the shorter your script is. Um, so just keep that in mind. Um,
Someone
so
reads my
there's a
writing.
great overview of keeping yourself within the range of writing a short script that will really be in the running. And again, the thing is I no matter how many arguments me and all my filmmaking buddies have about what constitutes an actual low budget or micro budget, what's easy to shoot, what's not easy to shoot. I think all of us agree that um, a captivating story um, is going to be your number one priority. A captivating story that's told on a human emotional level that somehow resonates with people in some way. And you got to do it in a quick time period. Um, and it ain't easy to do. But you know what? You can wrap your brain around it a lot easier if you watch a lot of short films and see what works and the ones that really um, grab your heart and either, crush it and stomp it flat or actually give you hope and really inspire you. Um, because all these emotions are valid to instill in an audience, but that's your first goal. And a lot of expensive crap and a lot of things to do are not totally necessary to get that effect. So, um, like I say, we all agree, do your best to tell a human story. And that's usually with human interactions. Sometimes it's just watching a protagonist struggle, and it's a struggle that you can identify with in some way. And, if you can do that, the quicker and sooner you do that, throw your protagonist into conflict, into a real problem that's really, gripping, then that's going to go the most of the way for you. That's going to take you to the finalist realm anyway. So that's the main. That's my parting shot. Any of our other filmmakers, short filmmakers, feature filmmakers, want to throw something in? Chris, yes.
I just thought of an example. I've shot a lot of 48-hour short weekend films over the years, and that I've kind of grown to hate them. Long story, but I had an idea for one about 3 years ago where I wanted to do one actor, one set, locked off camera, and it's a oneer. And so we drew the genre. I wrote it. I called an actress friend of mine and said, "You want to be in this thing?" She said, "Sure." She came over. I built a window, and we shot through the window of her having a conversation with somebody else on the phone who was never heard or seen. So it was one person. We did a 6-minute oneer. We shot it probably 9 times until we got one we liked. I did a quick color thing and turned it in. We were done in 3 hours. And it was like the anti 48-hour film because you know how those things are supposed to go all weekend. We built a set. I built a set in a couple hours. We shot it in 3 hours, and I turned it in. And she won Best Actress out of out of all the contestants. And it was super easy, super low budget, and it was a lot of fun. And we just had a good time doing it. And there was no money. I didn't have to provide craft services, food, nothing. She just popped over. We ran through it a few times, got one we liked, and turned it in. And we actually got best VFX too because at the end of the short, we shot it on a green screen, and I had a fancy. I went to an open house of like a $2 million house and shot an interior with my phone, and then used that as the plate for the background. So we shot the whole thing on green screen, and then in the end, we kind of revealed we had done that, and so we won best VFX also. But it was just super simple, super easy, one actor, and it was successful. So it can be done.
The best 40 hour, I never saw yours, so it might be the best if I had seen it, but I haven't. So the best one I ever saw was one that was about a woman actress was just shockingly good, and she um basically uh had a nervous breakdown due to the accumulation of problems in her life, and she was also um, uh, uh, in some having problems with, I guess, drug use and alcohol use and things. And in the this short film, she transitioned from just maintaining to her life falling apart to demonstrating beyond the shadow of a doubt she was ready to try to set her life on the right track. That's all it was. There was almost no dialogue either. And it wasn't very long. It was probably 5 minutes or something like that. Um, but it showed, a real believable struggle for this person. So, um, and that was a 48-hour film one. And, the 48-hour film ones have mandates that you have to use line dialogue, prop, and name a character, I think. And I personally detest those. That's what I hate second to most about that particular contest. You don't have anything like that for this TSA contest. All you have is make it work, keep it actually short, and use use those lists to make it shootable. And by the way, I'll just remind you um, that you can write, the sooner you write this, you can share it with you can't share it with me because I'm one of the judges. You can share it with other people in the TSA who have shot and produced short films and say, "Hey, what do you think of this? How producible is this?" You can get feedback on this. That's what the TSA, that's one of the core reasons the TSA exists is to get feedback on your material. So I can't emphasize enough how helpful it may be for you to get feedback on your short script before you submit it to the contest.
And you can't send it to me either. I can't help you either
You're right.
beyond what I just did.
Yes. Um, and David, do you have a quick comment or question, I should say? You have a
Yeah,
question?
you probably read it. In my last submission for the contest, I had guns in the scene, but they weren't used. They were not shot. Can you have guns that do not shoot or
Yes.
just appear in the scene?
Yes.
Okay.
But
So
not in a public school.
I'll stay away from public schools.
Okay.
He did touch on something there though, which was a script from another contest. And where are we on that, Bob?
Yeah, good question. What do you mean?
So can people who had submitted short script contests for short and scary or short and sweet or short and silly, can they resubmit for this contest?
No, original or not. They can be old scripts, but not ones you have submitted to other TSA contests.
Yes, a contests. Okay.
Yeah, you can pull one out of the drawer that's 20 years old. Um, just you can't have submitted it to a previous TSA short script contest.
Now would be the time before we're about to run out of time for this meeting, but now would be the time if you have any questions, and we didn't mention this earlier, but Chris Hollo, who has spoken several times this evening, he is the owner operator of Penumbra Entertainment, and Chris is the one that will direct and produce this movie for the TSA's short and shoot contest. So I would say this: if anybody has any questions that they want specific answers for, that they want to ask as far as guidelines or mandates or anything like that, now might be the time to do that. And not in the chat. Come on, and you don't have to put your camera on,
All right.
but
All right.
raise your
Yeah.
hand.
Mark, and in keeping with that, Noreen, I believe it was Noreen. Somebody just asked an actual great question to Chris. Do you want to clarify on that, Chris, out loud?
Sure. Um, the question was, should you copyright your screenplay before submitting it? And the answer is no, because if you are chosen as the winner, that's part of the deal. Is you will be then you'll have to provide a proof of authorship and also a copyright transfer to my company, so that we can shoot it. So if you copyright it, that just mucks everything up. So wait till you find out whether or not you are being produced. If you make it that far, if you are not being produced as part of the contest, then absolutely do it. But I would not do it until you find out.
No need to burn up money copywriting it unless you feel so awesome about it that you might. Um, that even if it somehow doesn't, for some reason, does not get picked for this, that you're going to enter it in other contests, and hopefully get it produced. So, so there is that. But yeah, don't copyright specifically for this. I can. If you're worried about it being stolen, I can only vouch for myself. I think I can speak for Chris. We won't be stealing anybody's short film scripts. It'll be easy to catch us, by the way. Daniel, do you have a question?
Yes. This was about connecting with those who have done this before. And I want to make sure that there's a place where the judges can't accidentally see because we're supposed to be submitting anonymously to the judges. So don't want to be risking any spoiling if people want to do share with each other, you know?
Well, I mean, the judges just won't read them. We don't want to read them until they're ready. So you guys, um, you can during any of these meetings, you can connect with other people who you think would be good for you to you think would be a good audience to read your script and give you feedback. So just ask. Uh, it also helps if you're willing to read and give feedback to theirs. So that's usually the way it works. Anybody else?
Any other
Oh,
questions specifically? Any other questions about the short and shoot contest? Ask now or forever hold your peace. I will say this though, we do have the listserv on our website. If you're a member, you should have access to our listserv. It's a bulletin board. Am I dating myself by calling it a listserv?
yes,
Am I dating it by calling it a bulletin board?
yes.
Okay, so whatever it's a 6-7 board. I don't know what it is. So what we have that thing with the words, and you're welcome to go in on there. And if you have a question about the short and shoot contest, to ask to start a conversation about that there and get more clarity. But I think everything's been pretty clearly laid out. Don't go nuts on locations. Don't go nuts on special effects. Don't go nuts on cast. Keep it simple. Pretend you're writing a one-act play. And just, that would probably be the easiest for your purposes as a writer for this contest.
I would just quickly clarify. You write your one act play with three acts, except that your first act is
Fair enough.
setting up your character, and that can happen in a half a page to a page. You want to usually you want to use archetypal type characters so we know who they are quickly, and then throw them into whatever issue it is that's going to challenge them, that is the worst thing that's happening to them that day. And then how it resolves, however it resolves, you know, one page or less is what's necessary for that act, that final act. So I wrote a short script a long time ago. Buddy of mine produced it. It's about a uh, it was about a guy who saw a homeless person, and he's a rich guy, wouldn't give him any money. And then in the next scene, his car breaks down. He ends up getting dirty, beat up, everything's stolen off of him. And he ends up sitting, not even sure of what's happened to him, on the ground with his hands open in front of him. And the same homeless guy walks by and sees him and puts some money in his hand and then walks on. and there's no dialogue in it, and that's that is I just told you every single thing that happened in it in about 4 minutes. So you can think in little parables. Um, sky's actually the limit. You can do quite a bit, and just think in short terms. You can still tell a little lesson. Or you don't have to, though. It can also just be a, you know, uh, uh, had some clips. If we had time, we're going to show them. We're out of time, but one of them is Lights Out, the short film. Look it up on YouTube. Lights Out,
Love it.
very short, scary as hell for a stupid little short film. It's shocking. Um, um,
Let me throw this out there, Bob.
yeah.
Do we wanna like give people a jump out point for the meeting now? And if we could, in fact, just keep going and show a couple of these short films for people to watch them if they want to stick around.
Well, I mean, I'm for it if people want to stick around. I guess that's up to the
Okay, well,
people. Let the people speak.
this is their out. We're going to officially conclude the meeting, and I'm going to turn off the recording. But thanks for joining us this week. Stay on the line. We're going to watch a couple short films that Bob has sort of curated for us as examples of stuff to be looking at as good examples of short micro budget films. But having said all that, just a reminder before we tap out on the official part of the meeting, next week is open mic. You can still submit if you'd like to read material next week. Go to our website, 10screen.com/open-mic and sign up for a gig, and we'll try to fit you in there so you can pitch your log line or your premise sheet or your synopsis. And that's available. So that'll be next week, 7:00 p.m. And I am going to go ahead and thanks everybody for coming out. And like I said, if you stick around for a few more minutes, we're going to watch some short films. But this is the official end of the meeting. And thanks everybody and our filmmakers, especially Elvis and Chris and Bob and MK and everybody else and the people who I'm forgetting right now for weighing in and giving their perspectives on everything. Thanks so much.